If you've ever wanted to build a professional brand, if you've always wanted people to respect you and you want people to feel pleasant in your company, you may want to learn the art of sophistication. Now, what does it mean to be sophisticated? I do not want to give you the dictionary definition of sophistication, but let's just talk about how we feel when we're around somebody who we consider to be sophisticated. Sophisticated people are those who present themselves in an elegant and polished manner. They're very refined in their conduct and speech, and people want to be around them because of the vibe that they give out. Now, none of us are born sophisticated. Human behavior at its very basic level is quite primitive. It is something that we develop over a period of time through observation and through self-reflection. So what are some of the things that we can do to build a more sophisticated image of ourselves? I'm going to discuss my observations and I'm going to discuss the practices that I adopted to develop some more refinement in my own personality. Number one, learn to dress appropriately. Now, dress appropriately means knowing how to dress for a particular occasion. You can be casual and still come across as refined and well put together. Knowing that you, in formal events, when to wear business wear, when to wear things that are a bit more polished, all of this sort of stuff falls under the category of dressing appropriately. If you look at the vast majority of people, they're not really giving a lot of thought into how they dress up. They're simply not conscious of how they're being perceived in the public. My recommendation is that it is better to be perhaps slightly overdressed than to be underdressed, but also knowing what kind of dress is appropriate for different types of occasions. The second way that you can become more sophisticated is by learning how to use more refined and nuanced language. Being very specific with the description of the words that you're using. Ensuring that the language that you're using is being used in such a way to create brevity where people are not getting confused and they're not misinterpreting what you're saying. The more expansive your vocabulary, the more your ability to be able to use the most specific descriptions and phrases when you're talking about a situation or a person or an event. This gives the impression that you're somebody who is well-read and well-educated, and that's why it adds to your sophistication appeal. Number three, not yelling in public. You see, a lot of people don't pay attention to their conduct in public. And we find that it's very cringeworthy when we see somebody in public being very loud or obnoxious. Not being loud and not yelling in public is definitely a sign of sophistication. But it's not very common. You just have to see how many people laugh loudly, or they drag their feet when they're walking, or they yell loudly when they're in public. All of this diminishes our sophistication. Number four, being well-mannered. Now, this is common sense, but it's certainly not common practice, especially today. Just using words like maybe, please, thank you, all of this sort of stuff shows other people that you're emotionally intelligent, that you apply due consideration. And what that means is that people start to feel more pleasant around you. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't going to be instances where you're going to be angry or you're going to feel unpleasant. That happens to everybody. But for the vast majority of time, how do you conduct yourself? Are you somebody who is well-mannered around people? Do you show respect and consideration to people? If you do, I can assure you that this is going to add to your sophistication. Number five, learn a little bit about art, culture, history, and economics. People who have a good understanding of how history works, how art works, and they have an appreciation for culture, tradition, and they understand how economics work, they typically come across as a lot more considerate and educated. So it's not just good enough to have the technical capability to do your job. I think it's important for us to realize and appreciate the beauty of our world. And a lot of that is captured in art, culture, and history. Number six, wear classy accessories. Now, you can buy classy accessories without spending a fortune. Just little pieces will make a massive difference. If you have a nice watch, if you're a man, if you have good pearl earrings as a woman, and these are just examples, a good pair of cufflinks, a nice silk tie, all of these add to your flair and style and show the world that you're somebody who takes care of themselves, and therefore it contributes to your sophistication. Number seven, don't be sloppy and messy. And what that means is making sure that you're wearing clothes that are well tailored to your body, that there is no signs of dandruff or food on your clothes or stains on your clothes. You'll be surprised how many times people walk into the public without realizing that their clothes have stains on them. or they haven't been washed properly. Being messy and being dressed sloppily definitely takes away from your credibility and detracts from your sophistication. Number 8, making sure that you're well groomed. Taking care of your skin and your hair automatically adds to your appeal. If you're slightly pleasant in your personality, if you get a bit of sunlight, you're taking care of your health and nutrition, naturally your skin and hair quality will improve and it will add to your sophistication. And number 9, don't overeat, overdrink, or overtalk in public. It's always best to remain reserved and dignified in public settings. You'll always see that people who overeat, overdrink, or overtalk, they end up discrediting themselves, and a lot of people will end up talking about them in a negative way. That takes away from your sophistication. When in doubt, it's always best to maintain a reserved and dignified demeanor rather than to engage and overindulge in eating, drinking, and talking. Out of all the strategies that I have mentioned today which can contribute to your sophistication, which ones can you apply immediately to improve your professional image, to improve your personal brand, and to improve your credibility in the public?